Hello, hello, everybody, and welcome to Tales Beyond the Tier. I will be your currently invisible host, Dan, and we're going to get right into it. I would love to introduce you to the people who are here today. As always, we'll jump right into it as we have our lovely CEO of ASM and founder as well, David McDonald. Welcome, welcome.
Hi Dan, nice to be here. Really keen to jump into another one of these. I feel like it was forever ago since our last one, so I've been jonesing for it, so to speak.
It does feel like it was a while ago actually, yeah. But I don't know if it actually was a long time ago or if it's just the passage of time is very strange for all of us here. Um, and as well we have the lovely Steve. Welcome, welcome.
What's up, guys? How are you? This is fun. This is it does feel like a very long time, but then again, I mean, we're kind of creating a whole new world here, so I guess the passage of time now is a little bit weird. So
It's a bit wibbly wobbly, timey wimey.
it's totally yeah.
A classic, a
Yeah.
classic indeed. And I'm really upset at the moment. I'm looking at the preview and my camera is absolutely shot. It was working fine before, so apologies for that, everyone. It's I'll blame something. You always blame. A good builder always blames their tools, right? That's how it goes. So, it's fine. But yeah, we've got a lot to get into today. Obviously, this is episode 2 of Tales Beyond the Tier. Steve has lots of content for us to go through today, and myself and David get to enjoy it with all of you as well, which is really exciting for us. As a quick, I mean, there's not really much of even a rundown to do. I think it's a straight jump into it, Steve.
Kinda. There's first off, we have to say congratulations to all those who have been mining for brains. You guys are working diligently for the past several months to reveal the Austrian island or the Illyrian map. Well, you finally did, and today we're going to start getting into one of the 9 regions. And after this, we're going to start getting into some questions that you guys are going to start answering, hopefully anyway, and start contributing to the world. This is how Web3 lore works. It's all about community contribution. So while all I'm doing is just laying down the foundational lore, you guys are going to start building on top of that, and then we're going to release a nice little YouTube video, which is going to encapsulate everything that we discussed today, plus some additional content. So yeah, we've got a bunch of stuff going on, but first and foremost, congratulations on the reveal of the entire map.
Yeah, we did it. We got it all out. Everyone was mining right, and it's all there. And it was really really fun to watch it happen. Right, like obviously, we'd seen it. We can be honest about it. I'd seen it, but it was cool. It was cool to watch it as like come out part by part, and then you had the clickable icons, and you could read about it, which was something I hadn't experienced before everyone else did either. So it was just more content to consume that sort of I think a lot of the time can get left behind, right? Because it's not necessary for the product, but it makes it interesting and it makes it worthwhile doing.
Absolutely, absolutely. David, I have a question for you actually.
Yeah.
When it came down to the community starting to understand that there was an entire world that ASM had created and everything like that, what was it like for you to just to see things unfold?
Well, because I was there alongside the community for the creation of a lot of the stuff, and we had the conversations on our side in the meeting rooms and on the Zoom calls, and then we had the conversations going on with the community in the Discord, and it all kind of seemed to evolve around me as we're going through this process, which is a lot of fun. And it didn't feel like we were creating it, but discovering it.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah, some of so much of it just started to organically develop. I was interacting with the on Discord with the community and started asking them some questions, and the contributions of just stuff and stories and lore about lands that none of us have ever physically come to, but is just as believable. It's been an absolute trip.
yeah, I've been loving it so far, and just really, it's going to be really awesome to see where it develops, and as we start to build out in these worlds in more interactive ways, where we can actually go in and traverse and discover them in much more immersive formats. I'm definitely looking forward to that.
Oh yeah, yeah. There's stuff planned. I can't get into too much detail. You know what I'm talking about, and we have absolutely dropped that a D&D game is going to take place. David, you're a part of that, and we're beginning to plan that behind the scenes, and already development for that has taken place. There is going to be some community contribution on that as well. So together we're going to reveal a land, but we're going to be starting off with Outlands, and there's a reason for that, because Outlands was one of the transformative periods in the timeline of Ilaria. Or rather, one of the areas that really underwent a massive amount of change. Who knows anything about the Outlands now, David? How much do you know about Outlands, if anything?
So there's things I know about the Outlands.
He's worried now. He's like,
I
wait,
don't know
can I say
if
it?
I'm gonna, yeah, if I can say it, because if I'm gonna spoil some stuff.
No, I'm gonna drop a lot.
Okay.
Go ahead.
So what? Okay, what I think, and this might have changed, and this might have been hearsay or a rumor, spread amongst the Illyrians that somehow I picked up on, but I heard that the scar in the middle of the lands was an asteroid, containing elements of great power, that has affected the landscape and the inhabitants around it.
Absolutely.
That's my kind of that's the rumors I've heard.
Yeah, that's huge. That's kind of huge. Dan, do we need to do anything before we dive right in?
I think we've done enough housekeeping. I think we can go straight in. We'll switch over to you, and we'll have a look at what's going on.
Alrighty, let's do this. Hold on. I have. Let's see if we can make this work.
Tell you what, I will switch the scene once you say you're ready.
Oh, I'm ready.
All right, here we go. We'll do our 6-star wipe, and we'll get in there.
Alrighty. Hey, guys, let me know. I have sound effects. Let me know if you guys can hear this. Can you hear birds and stuff? I'm curious.
Yep.
This is the first time
it's coming
you
through.
Can. Awesome. I'm curious if the audience can hear it. Hey, chat, can you guys hear this as well?
If I can hear it, they should be able to hear it because they hear everything I hear.
Fantastic. Okay, cool. Then we've got stuff. Oh boy, Tales from Beyond the Tear. Here we go.
Ooh.
So, for those of you that have uncovered the Outlands, you will also uncover the lore card for it. And the lore card for it went something like this. Few can remember the verdant plains and meandering rivers of Iria, the farming communities that dotted this landscape. Fewer recall songs sung to the stars or legends of ancient cities with mysterious crystalline structures. In truth, very few remember anything before the Eye of Ruin. Today, this area is called the Outlands, a place of barrier mountains that hold within their embrace plains of dust and rock and little else. Now, those who dwell here don't view their home as a wasteland. To them, it is a challenge to be met and overcome, a point of pride. A few cities have risen, as have some communities on the periphery, yet not all share the visions of glass and steel. Instead, they lord over the wastelands and carve out new territories and adventures. Sometimes they even discover legends of old. So yeah, David, you're right about that. Hold on, where are you? Oh, you're up there now. So I have to look up now. You're right. The Eye of Ruin did land in there. However, there's a huge story that we have to tell about this. If you guys are ready, let's get right into it. Iria was once a verdant, lush paradise filled with rolling green hills, sparkling clear rivers, and fields of wildflowers as far as the eye could see. In contrast, mighty cities of naturally grown crystalline construction rose against the skyline and shone shone awesomely.
Oh, it's good. Dude,
You know,
it happens, man. It happens.
I do this professionally,
Yeah.
and this would be called, okay, take two. All right, so.
And we can reset it. We'll reset it. Look, I'll do a wipe. Hold on. Here we go. We'll wipe. We'll sting her out. Look, we'll stick it back in. We're good.
No. Come on. No. We're going to forge forward. And they shone brilliant, awesome. Okay, they were very bright. Brilliantly. The people lived in harmony with nature, tending to their crops and livestock, mined minerals and odd ore from underneath, from the under earth, and enjoyed. Oh wow, you actually did do a wipe. I just saw it.
I got you, dude. I got you. We'll wipe back in and out.
And enjoyed the fruits of their labor. Now, those that came before often gathered round bonfires at night, gazed into the sky, and wondered what created the gentle, dreamlike swaths of color against which countless stars were fixed, or why among it all there was a fine line of inky blackness that occasionally grew brighter. The sky seers, a somewhat mysterious lot, whose job it was to gaze into the sky and predict weather and the best time to sow seed, was the first to note that a small green dot appeared from that faint crack in the sky. They warned it was an omen, but the people of Iria were happy where they were, and they didn't want to think of such things. Over a few brief weeks, that small green dot grew larger, and the sky seers repeated their warning. Still, few paid attention, and also politely reminded the sky seers of that one time that they did predict, oddly enough, that it would rain cows. Well, of course it didn't. Meanwhile, Meliscore to the south found themselves with a deluge of skyborn cattle. Legend has it that they ate all the grass, and that's why Meliscore is a desert today. But a clear blue sky hovered above, and a gentle breeze blew through the fields. Those that came before went about their daily tasks, and because they had ignored the warnings of the sky seers, most were largely unaware of the danger that was hurtling toward them from the depths of space. Meanwhile, the sky seers prepared for the worst and found underground caverns in which to store their most precious tidbits of lore. And then it struck. The meteorite hit with a force that shook all of Iria. It smashed into the ground with a deafening roar, and shockwaves rippled through the land, forming mountains and hills where none were before. The impact sent massive waves of heat and energy radiating outwards, incinerating everything in its path. The once lush fields of Iria were transformed into a barren wasteland in an instant. The Eye of Ruin, as it had come to be called, had punched a massive crater in the middle of the earth, tore up soil, and left behind a scar that would never heal. Those who survived the initial impact were left to struggle in the aftermath, scavenging for food and shelter in a land that had been reduced to rubble. But little could be found, and over time, those that came before found new homes on distant shores, and the land was without. It's said the dreamers, those mysterious beings who can craft worlds where none once existed, would send a new people to inhabit these barren expanses, and other places as well. And so a new and much different people appeared and came to their new barren home with fervor and excitement. They explored these lands and noted ruins dotted the landscape. They formed nomadic tribes and clans that would barter and trade with each other as they carved out new territories. Others would discover deep mines of those mysterious minerals and metals and make them home. Some claim to have found ancient texts in these caves from a people called sky seers that described fanciful tales of crystalline cities and an odd-looking people and a time before a massive radiating hulk of space stone called the Eye of Ruin occupied the middle of it all. Now, in the days since, these new people, called All-Stars, would form a way of life that is uniquely theirs in the Outlands and well adapted to their environment. Though barely anything of the ancient world exists today, let alone vast crystalline cities and fields of wildflowers, the Outland All-Stars have made it their home, scavenging wreckage, smelting ore into new metals, and harvesting what they could of old ruins. The Outlanders have built up cities and communities that can survive even the worst threats these barren lands have to offer. Outside the protection of ramshackle cities like Ashbourne, New Caldro, Nomad Peaks, and Emberton, roving bands of wasteland warriors scour the landscape for food, clothing, materials, and chocolate. Yes, chocolate. In the bare lands to the south, and governed over by some rather powerful all-stars, exists a tightly controlled trade, pools of liquid chocolate. And cats. When he likes chocolate, don't ever feed your cat chocolate.
Don't feed your cats chocolate.
Don't feed your pets chocolate.
No.
So when football rose in popularity on Alshorn Island, they even constructed the Sugar Hills Arena. Welcome to the Outlands. That is the foundational lore of one of the 9 biomes, and I can give you a little bit of a synopsis of what each of these are. This area here on the right-hand side is known as the Eastern Dusts, and there it's a location of several aephorite mines, arenas, and wasteland camps. David, you've gone over aephorite in the past. Do you remember what you said about it?
I've said a lot of things about it.
Okay, well... well, I've kind of written some stuff about it, so what do you got?
Okay. So out of all the things, I'm trying to imagine what specific thing you're trying to prompt me to talk about.
Well, aephorite, of course, is used in the mining of brains.
Yes, yeah,
Okay.
absolutely. It's also a metal that has some very interesting properties that are of interest to creatures outside of the world of Iria, and interesting things can be made from it, including but not limited to vehicles.
That's very interesting. I guess we'll get into that in a little bit some other time. All the way up here, you have the Stedman Farm. The Stedman Farm has been there since the old days. And it's one of the few locations, actually, it's the only location out of all the Outlands that was pretty much untouched by the Eye of Ruin. Existing hills and mountains pretty much protected this area. And it's also the only location here in Dreamer's Rest, for example, of a new kind of crystal that the All-Stars are trying to figure out what to do with, something called Geridium.
Ooh. What is it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that's created by someone on our internal community. I went over this one time. It was suggested by someone, and now it's here. Pablo, who does our maps, also included this lovely little thing here. So we're going to explore that at some other point as to what exactly Geridium could be. But nonetheless.
Dreamer's Rest. I wonder if that's a hint.
Yeah, I mean, maybe.
I think the big thing when I look at this and I see Stedman Farm, I'm like, there's a boss encounter there. That's the first thing. I'm like, it looks too different. There's a boss there. There's 100% a boss battle there.
You know what's something that you should absolutely notice? I mean, I'm kind of coming in, so it's low res, but there's a UFO here.
Yeah.
Now, a UFO is unidentified, so I'm not identifying it. I'm just calling it a UFO. All right? So we'll just leave it that way. Whether or not it still flies is another matter entirely. But on these maps, you guys are also going to start finding out where some of the Aepha arenas are, but we'll get into that under another cast. Also, surrounding the Eye of Ruin in the middle is this circle of settlements, accurately named Settlement Circle. It's all makeshift cities and wasteland technology that harvest energy from the Eye of Ruin. A particular note here is Castus Watch. Here, the onlookers from New Caldro maintain watch over the Eye of Ruin, taking constant measurements and trying to find out what exactly it has to offer. There is a mysterious energy that radiates from it, but today is about the Outlands, not the Eye of Ruin itself. We'll probably get into that another time.
So can
Um,
I ask a question?
yeah, of course.
Were the inhabitants um, here before the ancient inhabitants, were they more advanced than the current All Stars? Is that
When you're,
is that they like technologically advanced? Is that the sort of
I, oh
situation?
boy, that's a really good question. So,
Mm,
um, today, um, we kind of have an idea as to how the pyramids of Egypt were built, right?
mm,
And
yeah.
so we can take a look back and we can see that these ancient people had fantastic abilities and understanding of engineering and physics and other things like that. Would we be able to build something like that today with our technology? Probably, but it would, it's going to be very, very different. So were they more advanced? Let's just say that they were laterally advanced, and they certainly
No,
had
I
an
see.
understanding of a world that existed at that time that these all stars may not. Or maybe as we uncover other regions, Meliscor, Chrysandel, we may start tapping into some of that ancient tech. Well, we'll have to see what it is.
That's awesome. Okay, yep, that
Cool,
makes
cool, cool,
sense.
cool. Coming down here into the southern wastes, nomadic wasteland warrior clans vie over control of natural sugars and chocolate rivers. Believe it or not, this is actually here. You guys are going to start noticing something when it comes down to the lore being developed for this world. Everything up to this point has been doom and gloom and dark mystery and full of like eldritch lore, and absolutely all of that is totally legit. However, take a look at your average all-star. Take a look at the map. We don't have hard edges on these assets. So the all-stars actually do live in a very vibrant, colorful world. How you choose to represent your all-star, its personality, etc., is of course entirely up to you. And the land that your all-star occupies in is also going to be completely up to you. But the lore is now going to start taking on a much more fun tone. We've now established the base of it, presenting you with a contrast and challenge. Create stories that make good use of all this amazing stuff that has already come out from Josh, myself, the community, and others on the community, both internal and external. So it's going to vary widely, and this is really what Ilaria is about, a wide range of stuff that is now going to start coming out. We now continue over here to the Western Reaches, which is a very interesting place lore-wise, because here we still see some semblance of the old technologies, or the old cultures, or something. Ruins, Solitude's Circle, a henge that still remains from days of yore, scorched basin with a series of skulls of creatures that once lived here. Port Promise, maybe this is where the ancients left from. It was a natural port city or port village that was destroyed, but then again rebuilt by the All Stars into this. Where do they get? First off, do they receive shipments? That's something I want to know from you guys. As a matter of fact, at the end of this, we're going to have some polls that we would love to get. Dan, that you have the polls, right?
Yep. Yeah, I've got them.
Okay.
So the
Oh,
only thing
awesome.
is that they have a text limit for the polls on YouTube. So I've
Oh, feel free to
shortened some of
edit.
the answers, but I'll read them out loud as well.
Awesome. Cool. So we have Sanctum Plateau, over which over the Outlands, watchers can view a whole bunch of things that are going on, including being able to look down on New Caldro. You'll also notice that there are areas of mines here. This is where you're going to find aephorite mines. You're going to find some Jaridian mines and what have you. There is a potential for new minerals and new crystals and all sorts of things coming out of Ilaria. And some of that is going to have to do with you guys actually creating that stuff. We may identify a need, and then maybe you'll come back and you'll tell us how that need might be met by your all-star. There are a wide variety of possibilities here in the Outlands. And just because it has a Mad Max kind of feel does not necessarily mean that we're limited in what is possible. From cities to barren wastelands, from small communities to those who are lone wolves out there in the wilds. Anything is possible in the Outlands. But just about everyone there has one thing in common: their love for survival. That's what the Outlands is, and that's that. So we have a couple of polls. Dan, why don't we release the first one?
Yeah, so I will throw it out now. I've got it pre-prepped. I'm just ready, apparently. But
Awesome.
I'll run through the full question. So it reads as, what are some things these wasteland cities produce? The first option, basic necessities, food, shelter, and clothing. The second, equipped patrols for roaming the wasteland. Third, a threat to those who carry on the old ways. Or fourth, the best chocolate around.
David, what's your opinion?
Oh, I mean, I don't want to influence anybody's vote. Actually, I'm gonna give my opinion afterwards. I'm gonna vote now. Hopefully, this doesn't show up for everybody.
Okay, all right, totally cool. So some of the questions that I have for the ongoing chat is, for those of you that have mined brains in this area, what are the personalities that you've given to your brain? And does something like this help inform it, or do you stay solid on your path that you've already forged with? How does this work for you, Dan? Like, if you were to create a character or have an all-star, you have all-stars.
I do.
Yeah. Do any of them come from the Outlands by any chance?
I don't think they would. Potentially one of my ghosts, because it could be part of the old people and now it's dead.
Oh, that's okay. I'm gonna open up my
You're intrigued now.
dashboard.
Yeah.
And just see.
Are you looking at your assets?
Yeah.
Keep in mind, we've got eight other things to go over. So.
Okay, I think I can tell you what I voted. So I voted for what looks like what everybody else has voted for: equipped patrols for roaming.
Yeah, I'll end it now,
okay.
so we can call it there.
Yeah.
So equipped patrols
cool.
for roaming the wasteland is the answer that has been most voted for.
Okay, cool.
So I have these little space dudes. And I've got a team of 4 of them. And they're all silver. They're all got the arms? They're cultist arms. And they've all got the cryptonaut bodies. And they've all got, what's the other thing that's in common? It took me a while, and the snappy topper. It took me a while to build these, but I need to figure out where these guys exist. They're cryptonauts, so presumably some people, so they're fascinated with space at the very least. Whether they've been there or not, I don't know yet. But I don't know whether they fit into the.
They could be
Outlands.
they could be trying to find out where the meteor came from, perhaps, that
That's
caused
true,
the
that's
damage.
Yeah.
It's I'm taking a look at this really quick. There's some people. Wow, I'm just reading the chat. Okay, so you think some of yours come from this area? How many all-stars? I'm not looking at your screen. How many all-stars do you have?
Do I have?
Yeah.
1, 2, 3.
You have at least 9. That's my real question.
2, 3, 4, 5.
He's got at least 9, yeah.
Okay, so you all right? Yeah, at least 9. Okay, so you have like families.
Yeah.
You have entire corporations. Okay, cool. Yeah. So that's going to lead me to, let's see here. Poglet, by the way, hey Josh, is saying that the bucket hat brawlers all come from the Outlands. Confirmed. So that's been entered into the lore. Also entered into the lore. 46% have said that equipped patrols for roaming. 30% said a threat to the old ways. 15% said food, shelter, and clothing. Apparently, they're not really up on the basic necessities in the sense. They just go. Yeah, exactly. They equip others to go out there, go get the stuff, and then bring it back. But they're not producing it. And then 7% said the best chocolate around. Okay, that's now actual canon. That's how this works. So when I start recording the YouTube video or when I write the script for it, we're going to incorporate these answers into the lore, and more stories are going to be developed around everything that you guys are creating right now. So, yeah, awesome.
So,
All right.
yeah, if everybody watching, make sure you go tell people in the Discords and such that if they're not here, they don't get to create what you guys get to create. You can let them know, get them in. The voices matter.
Absolutely. Creation also does take place on Discord. It'll also take place on any of the social medium that we're using. So we are collecting everything. And in fact, you may notice that Professor Jenny Bryan is currently doing something over on Twitter. You may want to go take a look at that. And you guys are going to be a little bit surprised on where we're going to take that one. So take a look at that as well. Alrighty. Any questions on anything presented so far before we go on to the next poll?
Not for me. I'm pretty happy where we are. I'm enjoying myself. It's great.
Cool.
Oh, okay. I just went onto PJB's Twitter. Cool.
Yeah. Oh, you starting to see some stuff there? Okay. Yeah. There's stuff going on. And I'll touch on that in just a second. Dan, can we get
ready.
Oh, you are amazing.
So ready. All right, let's launch the next poll. All of these are written exactly how I got them, but I'll go through them out loud. Where would your Outlander All-Star live? Option 1, cities are where it's at. Option 2, small settlement. We're xenophobes. No one clip that. No one's allowed to clip that. Option 3, roaming band of rovers, or option 4, in those ancient caves.
Ooh,
yeah.
This one's a tough one.
I think I'm gonna put
two of them very much.
Currently, we don't have any surface dwellers. No one's in the cities.
Nah.
Yes.
Apparently, the cities are barren. Hold on. So far, we have like 6 votes for it. Wow. Currently, in those ancient caves is leading at 67%.
All I'm saying is there can be very dangerous things in caves.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
It's a cave.
That's
guys.
why I want them to be there.
Yeah, I'm a DM. I play Dungeons and Dragons.
Yeah.
If you go into
caves are bad.
No.
Nothing
Maybe
good.
you find interesting things.
Yeah.
Nothing good ever happens in a cave. Let's be real.
I think one person just voted for the small settlement. Good, because we have them on the map, so somebody's living there.
Someone lives there, at least.
But so far, I like that no one has voted for the cities so far. No one voted for the cities, which tells me that there's a lot of materials there that can be scavenged.
All of the mega city viewers, people who live there, they aren't here today. They're like, nah.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, they're like elsewhere. Hold on. Are we showing the? Yeah, we're still showing the map. Yeah, here's mega city over here. Everyone just lives here.
Yeah.
So
all the other cities are just barren. No one uses them.
Yeah, still no one wants to live in the cities.
Yeah.
All right.
I'll close it off. I'll close it off now. So it looks like the caves.
It is. People live in the caves. Okay, hold on. Let me copy that. Alrighty. I'm adding that to the lore. Where do y'all live? And y'all live in caves. Okay.
Josh has made a good point. Why live in Outlands just to live in the city?
That's true.
I know. Exactly. So maybe then. So here's an interesting little thing here. The way that community can also contribute is to rewrite the direction that I would have naturally have taken things. I assume that people would want to be in cities. I mean, we certainly have them there. So maybe these cities are the remnants of the old cities that used to exist, and maybe they're now completely desolate. So this is the power of the community. This is awesome. So 64% responded with in those ancient caves. 28% responded with roaming band of rovers who are roaming and roving. Small settlement. We're xenophobes is 7%, and the cities are empty.
Cities
No
are
one.
empty.
That's
Look,
awesome.
the all-stars that live here were like, caves are hype. The cities, that's a lot of maintenance. We gotta fix stuff. It's too much. Too much admin. We'll stay in the
Maybe
caves.
the
really is.
walls.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's walls. You can't see. It's like anything could be hiding in shadows.
Yeah. But surely
So-
caves are safer than cities, right? Always so
Uh,
safe.
Sure.
Yeah. Caves are the safest part. Yeah.
So, David, I have a question to ask you. So, when we play D&D, are you going to set? By the way, I have stories set, but we kind of talked about this behind the scenes. You guys aren't going to see some scenarios, whether or not you want to involve yourself in them. That's an entirely different matter. But that's all I'm doing. I'm just creating what the world is doing around your characters. But I am kind of curious. Would you send your character into an abandoned city, or rather, if you had to choose, into an abandoned city in which other things have found safety, or are you going to send them into dark and meandering caves?
Oh, dark and meandering caves for sure.
There's always good
duly
treasure.
noted.
Very
right?
hard to. Yeah, it's very hard for me to roleplay a character that doesn't have a sense for adventure and taking risks.
All right, duly noted. So that means I now need lots of cave maps. Okay.
I see coming from DZ, ancient cities and modern caves. I love it.
The caves are just tricked out, It's like RGB lights going down them instead of just normal candles. It's great.
Right, they have like Bose like speakers everywhere.
Yeah, it's dope.
Okay, let's see. What else do we have here? So, quick little thing going on before we hit up the next poll about some of the lore that's going to be coming out. So, Professor Jenny Bryan has been for a long time a staple of this, but PJB, we call her PJB, and I'm sure you guys do too. PJB has a very stoic, clinical, cold way of delivering information, and that's fantastic. But what if another character were to now start making its presence known? So it may be a while. I'm not going to drop anything, but do keep your eyes open, because we're going to start really venturing out there and having characters tell you what life is like on Ilaria, and you should be able to interact with them. So keep your eye out, and it's going to have different tones too. We're going to start seeing friendly, we're going to start seeing antagonists, we're going to start seeing a whole bunch of stuff. So how is it all coming out? Through various mediums, not only on Discord and Twitter, but maybe in other spaces as well. So keep your eyes open. Alrighty, do we have another poll to go?
We do. I will fire it out right now. And the third one is, what would farms in the Outlands produce? Normal stuff everyone can eat. Weird mutated foods. Two-headed livestock. Or nothing, we burned it down. Crazy little cavemen. We're like, nah, we don't need
I know.
farms.
I didn't put into the poll. It's like, mushrooms,
Yeah.
tubers.
Well, we don't need to farm them, right? They grow pretty naturally in the caves. We keep dark, damp
that's what I'm
spots.
thinking.
They're chill.
Yeah, this was totally, again, you could totally tell where I was going with this, thinking that people were going to choose like on land settlements. No, fully 2/3 of the Outlands is below the surface. They're not stupid.
Cave people. Yeah, cave people.
I mean, you see, if I had to respond to that, well, I kind of have to respond to that. That's my job.
They're afraid of another meteor. They live underground.
No, that's a good one.
Yeah, that's smart. Yeah.
Yeah. The All Stars don't want to repeat that. So that's all right. That's interesting. Also, maybe
mutant cocoa beans that McRae never melt. Come on, Josh.
Is that mutant cocoa beans that never?
And of course, mycelium. Do they eat? Would you want to eat mycelium?
Well,
I suppose thingies do, but thingies are unique characters, and
yeah, they are.
I don't know if you want to go around eating the things that spiders eat.
Well,
I guess that's the real life version of eating flies.
But they do have moon rocks.
True.
So I have a question for you. We have an answer for this internally. What do you think moon rocks that you can feed to thingies in order to create art are made out of?
So we we know that they've got mycelium in them, right?
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Mm-hmm.
I wasn't there a recipe on the box?
Is
The
it?
moon
Is
rocks
there a
box.
recipe of the box?
I don't know. I think there's like ingredients on the box in there. I don't know.
Well, well, crap. Okay, so I have to rewrite stuff now. um.
May- Maybe check on that one.
Well,
I
no,
think
it's
there was a recipe on the Twitter. Sparzinski
yeah.
posted his recipe.
So you can physically make them, absolutely, but they also contain something else.
Okay.
Yeah. You have to. You. What do you purchase moon rocks with?
Esto.
That's right.
Yeah. So they can contain like aephorite or Esto energy. Yeah, aephorite. Well, because they're
Yeah.
rocks. They're
Yeah. Yeah.
rocks. Yeah.
Exactly. Yep. They're rocks. There is a little bit of mystery there as to why you're spending Asto in for thingies when Asto has traditionally been used in Alaria. So
Mm,
we're going to start visiting that in the future, and I'll drop it at that.
cool.
Yep. And
All
we
right.
have
So
pole ounces.
ooh. Okay. Cool. Let me copy this. 14 people voted on this one. So we have. Let me highlight, copy, paste. It's now canon. What would farms in the Outlands produce? Weird mutated foods with 35%. Now, normal stuff everyone can eat, says 21%. Also tied with two-headed livestock and nothing. We burned it all down. So some managed to hold on to their food and their two-headed livestock before others completely burnt it all down. Okay, perfect.
This
See,
one's more
Yeah.
contested.
Well, actually, Dan, that's actually. Hold on. Let me write that in. Contested. You're looking at clan wars. Hold on, I'm writing this in right now. Clan wars that fight over two-headed livestock and mutated veggies before they burn it down. Okay.
And some normal stuff. Some people just eat normal stuff.
Yeah, that's right. I forgot about that. Okay.
Yeah.
Clan wars that fight over two-headed livestock and mutated veggies. Don't forget about the Brussels sprouts. Okay, got it. Okay, cool. Got it. Alrighty. So, let me see. I've been given by the powers that be. There is some stuff here. Oh, that's right. We are going to talk about some factions and community. So some of you have already established your all-stars within the Outlands or have already come up with stories and backstories and other things like that. I highly encourage you to continue doing that and share it up on Discord in the future. I've kind of dropped this in the past. We're going to have a way that you will be able to communicate your lore. We are working on something that is going to allow you to really to provide you with that stage. It's still in the works. We're still moving forward on a lot of this. So hang tight. But in the meantime, share it on Discord. I can guarantee you, eyes are on it. So please do respond to that. But what kind of societies live in here? So we've heard that there are wasteland warriors. We've heard that there are nomadic tribes. We've heard that there are apparently chocolate cartels that lord over these pools of chocolate and rivers of sweet sugar. So if you had an all-star that came from the Outlands, what kind of society would you live in? Very curious about that because your answers here in YouTube are going to inform us of what kind of things are there. I have some ideas, but I'm only one person. You guys are the ones that actually matter. So let's see if we can do that. When moonrock mining. Oh, that's a good one. Well, you can make them. You got to get them from Sparkensky, right?
Because I was thinking about that, and started thinking about how that would fit in, but because you do have to make them from components, then I don't think you would mine for them. However, I do like the general idea of them kind of just popping up in places as you're doing other activities. Like, I think pulling on that thread of if they were to be mined, then pop up as you're doing genome mining, and sometimes you'll get like a bag of moon rocks or something. We can't do that because you can't mine them, but that doesn't mean they might not pop up in other areas as you're just doing other things unrelated to moon rocks.
There's a bunch of stuff there that could absolutely happen. All right, so it seems here that Professor Jenny Bryan has. I'm taking a look on the Twitter account. 6 minutes ago, something was released here, and it looks like something scrambled. And there's a note in the upper left corner of her communique that says, "Note these were whatever this is. These were intercepted from the New Seeker comm station that was established near the tear." Now, if you guys don't remember, there's a tear. If you go up on the cortex of alteredstatemachine.xyz, you can, of course, undergo a story. For those of you that may not have brains or have invested in that, there's actually a story that if you connect your wallet to it, you'll be able to unlock the story. And the story pretty much goes like this. There's a tear in space, and seekers and this Bored Ape by the name of Professor Jenny Bryan have been studying it for quite some time. And noticed that there was an energy coming from it. Well, PJB wanted to capture that energy and see what could be done with it. And cutting a long story short, ended up turning it into astro energy, which is then used along with Aphorite via the Seekers to mine for Gen 2 brains. So this is an interesting thing because that was a while ago. Professor Jenny Bryan has now been undergoing some other things. Professor Jenny Bryan has also but established a new research facility in Megacity in an alley where portals tend to appear. So kind of curious about that. But PJB has also noticed, according to the tweets that are out there, that that seekers have continued to gather asto that comes out of the tear on behalf of someone else. And PJB is starting to pay attention, but in a Schrodinger's cat kind of way, doesn't want to get involved or observe too closely, and so is starting to see what it is that the seekers are doing. Curious thing is, she's received a missive over a brand new established communications hub near the tear that the seekers established. I'm curious what that says. Having said that, do we have the last poll?
We do. I've just shot it out, and the last poll is: what creatures exist in the Outlands? Option 1, dead trees. Lots. Option 2, giant scrapians, aka scorpions made of scrap. Option 3, crystalline monsters of abnormal size. Or option 4, nothing. We ate them all.
So I like all of those answers.
What are you guys, if you lived in the Outlands, what kind of creatures would you encounter? I have to admit, as I was creating the polls, I love the concept of scrapians. It's a scorpion made of scrap metal.
I feel like I've seen a scorpion made of machine parts in something, and I'm trying to think of where.
Okay, let's dive into scrapians a little bit.
Okay, yeah.
Are they? Because we've got two options here. They're either mechanical creatures that are created through some process. So whether it's an ancient process that is not understood, or a modern process that somebody's sitting there producing these things, or they're like hermit crabs that
just pick it up.
They pick up scrap and they put it on themselves as armor, which both of those are really interesting things.
Yeah. So this should kind of let slip that new things are being created for this world, and in the D&D game, you might end up seeing some of these things.
I want to fight a scrapian.
Make sure to pillage some magnets somewhere so you can do cool stuff and throw magnets at it.
Oh, dude! Oh my God, that's a fantastic idea. I really like.
Yeah, you'll find out very quickly that I'm what's called a murder hobo in D&D, and I will make everything hard for everyone. It's great.
So you threatened in the past.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Josh has to deal with me. It's great. I love it.
Bogland is saying, Joshua is saying, we need an all of the above. So 12 people have voted here.
Yeah, I'll close it out now. And
already,
it looks like apparently there's no trees. Well, no dead trees.
Yeah.
We don't eat any creatures. But there's a lot of Scrapians and also a lot of crystalline monsters. It's a dangerous place, apparently.
I love this. So, are there any dead trees? I would say that there's probably a lot of dead trees, but they don't present a threat because they're not a creature. But what if I were to tell you that dead trees can move? Nothing. We ate them all. Yes, of course. But you haven't yet eaten them all, so they're all there. So both of those answers are completely valid. Giant Scrapians won with 66%. Scorpions of scrap. And crystalline monsters of abnormal size. So one last note on those Scrapians before we get going, because we have to wrap this up soon, don't we?
Yeah, we usually shoot for about an hour, so...
Oh, okay, cool. All right. So one little thing about the Scrapians, and I'll kind of drop this on you. What do we have in ASM's assets that are also part machinery?
I mean, in ASM specifically, or?
Well, they exist as part of ASM's offerings.
So within just Altered State Machine, don't we have like accessories and stuff that are robots and stuff that are
Sure.
That are machinery. We have of course the assimilated, which are
I'm sorry, the what? The what?
Assimilated.
I wonder if they have.
Yeah. Oh, interesting. Yeah.
Yeah, we haven't yet touched on the assimilated in lore yet publicly.
Yeah. That's a good point.
Yeah, so we have some stuff going on there. Let's see here, really quick.
DZ Scrapians made out of the scrap that ruthless atom car racers leave behind.
Yeah, if you drift too hard. Oh, scrap metal. So there's something for you. Yep. And Irwin is correct. Yeah, the assimilated are all-stars, an all-star family that are partially machine. We're going to see some stuff on them. All things, including superheroines, the originals, as well as zombies, of course, are all going to get their day in each of these things here. But before we get going, why don't we open this up to questions? You guys have any issue with that? Do we have time for that?
Yeah, we can open it up and just say, you got anything for us? I think, David, do you have anywhere to shoot off to very quickly, or?
I do, but I will.
They can wait.
I will stick around for a little bit. Yeah,
they can wait. They can wait. So if you do have any questions in the chat, throw them in for Steve to take a look at, or David or myself. But just remember, this isn't the alpha hunting of other things stream. This is the lore stream. So try and keep it to learning about those. I know some people get a little bit excited, but doesn't look like there's really much coming through at the moment, Steve. So I think we might be pretty clear to sort of chill and wrap it up. We can always answer questions in the Discord as well.
Absolutely.
We all pretty much live there.
Well, I can drop one last piece before we sign off. Something mysterious from the outside is about to affect Iria in ways it has never seen. So stay tuned on social media. You're going to see a whole new story open up.
Fantastic. The only question that Josh put in is when's the D&D starting?
We are going to be looking for the new year, and I'm coordinating everyone's schedules behind the scenes. ASM has been really concentrating on a lot of things, and with Futureverse and etc. So our time has been spent elsewhere, and now we're going to start seeing a little bit of time that we can devote to that. So once I have everyone's schedules, David, I already have yours. Thank you for that. Once I have those others who are also involved or potential to be involved, once I have all that, then we're going to set aside a date. And I will tell you this much, it's going to kick off with the Game Zero So we're all going to be together as the characters are created, and we discuss their backstories and the adventure. And then at the very end of Game Zero, we guys are going to hear what the adventure is actually about.
Perfect.
Awesome. Can't wait.
All right. Well, thank you everybody for tuning in. Thank you, David and Steve, for making the time. This was Tales Beyond the Tear, episode 2. We will be back in the new year for episode 3. Steve, any leaks about what episode 3 could be about? Or are we leaving it all mysterious?
Well, this is. I don't want to leave it mysterious because I love dropping stuff, but at this time, I'm gonna have to say. But if you guys tell us right here in YouTube which one you would like to see next, it'll certainly be taken into consideration. So put it down below.
All right.
Oh, and by the way, of course, subscribe, hit that bell for notifications, do all that good stuff.
Yeah, do that. I'm on a new platform of streaming. I usually don't have to say that. Make sure you subscribe, leave comments. It all helps the algorithm for more people to see this and enjoy the content. And yeah, thank you everyone for tuning in. We will see you guys in the Discord, on the Twitters, everything like that. And we will be back in the new year for episode 3.
Thanks, everyone.
Cheers.